Welcome back to the channel, where we examine power not through rumors, but through structure, behavior, and long-term influence. Today's story is not about numbers on a balance sheet. It is about control, access, and authority. This is the story of the so-called trillionaire life of Vladimir Putin, and why many believe his lifestyle transcends traditional definitions of wealth in modern society. Wealth is usually measured by ownership, assets, shares, properties, accounts. But in systems built on centralized authority, wealth takes a different form. It becomes access. It becomes control over resources without direct ownership. It becomes the ability to command without appearing to possess. This is the framework through which Vladimir Putin's life must be understood. Putin officially earns a government salary. His publicly declared assets are modest by global billionaire standards. Yet his lifestyle, security apparatus, residences, transportation, and influence suggest something far larger. The contradiction between declaration and perception is what fuels global fascination. From the moment Putin consolidated power, the Russian state began to centralize around loyalty. Key industries, energy companies, infrastructure, and strategic assets came under the influence of individuals closely aligned with the Kremlin. These individuals are often described as oligarchs, but their power is conditional. Their wealth exists with permission. This distinction is critical. In such a system, the ultimate wealth does not belong to those who hold assets, but to the one who controls the system that protects or removes them. Putin's residences are among the most discussed symbols of this perceived wealth. He is linked by investigative reports to numerous properties across Russia, many of which are officially owned by the state or by affiliated entities. These locations are secured, isolated, and maintained at extraordinary cost. Whether used frequently or not, their existence demonstrates access to unlimited resources. Transportation further reinforces this image. Putin travels with fleets of aircraft, motorcades, and security units that rival those of any global monarch. These are not personal purchases. They are state-provided instruments. But the distinction between personal and state becomes blurred when authority is absolute. When the state moves for one man, its resources effectively become his luxury, and Putin's life is quiet. There are no public displays of extravagance. Clothing is understated. Public appearances are tightly controlled. This restraint is intentional. In Russian political culture, overt luxury can be perceived as weakness. Power is communicated through simplicity, distance, and control rather than spectacle. The idea of a trillionaire life also includes control over time and consequence. Putin's schedule, movements, and environment are shaped entirely around him. Entire cities adjust to his presence. Airspace closes. Roads clear. Decisions ripple across borders. This level of influence cannot be purchased in markets. It is accumulated through decades of power. Another element is secrecy. True wealth at this level is invisible. Assets are layered through trusts, intermediaries, and loyal figures. Whether or not Putin personally owns vast sums is less relevant than the reality that nothing of value within the system operates beyond his reach. That reach is what many observers interpret as trillionaire-level power. International sanctions further complicate the narrative. Despite severe restrictions, Putin's lifestyle remains unchanged. This resilience reinforces perceptions that his access to resources is insulated from traditional economic pressure. When money fails to limit a life, influence replaces it. Putin's security environment also reflects extraordinary investment. He's one of the most protected individuals on Earth. Advanced intelligence, counter-surveillance, and layered defense systems follow him constantly. These are costs that would bankrupt individuals but are sustained indefinitely by the state. Again, wealth appears not as ownership, but as permanence. Critics argue that the trillionaire label is symbolic, not literal. Supporters argue it misunderstands Russian governance. Both sides agree on one thing. Putin's power is not comparable to that of traditional billionaires. He does not compete in markets. He shapes them. His leisure, when it occurs, is tightly choreographed. Remote locations, controlled environments, carefully released imagery, fishing trips, nature excursions, and sporting moments are presented as symbols of vitality and control, not indulgence. Even relaxation serves messaging. Ultimately, the trillionaire life of Vladimir Putin is not about money counted. It is about a system commanded. It is about a life where access replaces ownership, silence replaces display, and power replaces currency. Whether one views this as leadership, control, or dominance depends on perspective, but its scale is undeniable. In a world obsessed with net worth rankings, Putin represents a different category entirely. A life where wealth cannot be frozen, audited, or fully traced. A life measured not in dollars but in influence beyond the visible structures of power. There is a quieter dimension that sustains the perception of limitless wealth. Insulation from consequence. In most systems, money is vulnerable. It can be taxed, frozen, devalued, or lost. In Putin's world, insulation is the true currency. Decisions are buffered by layers of loyalty, secrecy, and institutional control. This creates a life where material loss is almost irrelevant because access never disappears. Another factor often misunderstood is scale. When power operates at a national level, everyday concepts of cost dissolve. Maintenance of residences, security, travel, and communication networks are not budgeted like personal expenses. They are absorbed into state machinery. The individual at the center experiences continuity, not transaction. This continuity is what many observers interpret as unimaginable personal wealth. There is also the matter of narrative discipline. Putin's image is tightly curated to project restraint, stability, and inevitability. This presentation is not accidental. In Russian political tradition, overt luxury invites resentment. Authority is preserved by appearing above material desire. By minimizing visible indulgence, power appears moral, controlled, and justified. This restraint strengthens legitimacy while hiding the true scale of access behind it. Critically, influence over people is itself a form of wealth. Careers rise and fall through proximity. Businesses expand or collapse through alignment. Legal outcomes, contracts, and opportunities are shaped by loyalty. This environment turns human capital into an extension of authority. When people move at your signal, wealth becomes behavioral rather than financial. International isolation has paradoxically reinforced this dynamic. Sanctions limit traditional interaction with global markets, but they also concentrate internal dependence. As external channels close, internal control tightens. This reinforces the perception that the system revolves around a single axis. In such a structure, power does not shrink under pressure. It consolidates. Another overlooked aspect is time horizon. Billionaires often think in quarters or years. Putin's system operates in decades. Long-term positioning replaces short-term gain. This patience creates an illusion of permanence, which itself is a form of dominance. When leadership appears immovable, wealth appears infinite. Even leisure follows this logic. Nature retreats, sporting imagery, and moments of solitude are not escapes from power, but extensions of it. They signal vitality, endurance, and command over environment. The message is subtle, but consistent. Control is total, even in rest. Ultimately, the idea of a trillionaire life attached to Vladimir Putin is not a literal accounting claim. It is a metaphor used to describe a level of access, insulation, and influence that transcends private wealth. It reflects a reality where systems serve one center, where resources respond without negotiation, and where consequence is distant. Whether admired or criticized, this model challenges how the modern world defines riches. It suggests that the highest form of wealth is not money earned, but systems commanded. Not assets owned, but outcomes shaped. Not luxury displayed, but permanence enforced. Thank you for staying with this extended exploration. If you appreciate long-form, responsible storytelling that examines power through structure rather than hype, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.